Hey guys, it is Ben, aka the Fuse Box. It's that time again. Time for us to continue our journey through Metal Gear Solid 5. And we got a big one today. We got some important missions coming up. We're going to finally get some answers about this mysterious illness that all the PFs have been dealing with and that we've been tracking, but we haven't been able to get too many hints about. Well, we're going to get it all today. Hell yeah. We are on the cusp. We are on the precipice of finishing. And yeah, I just got done with a live stream. And I got to say, I think before I stream again, I'm going to need to do something about my internet. And I'm definitely going to be looking into getting a better webcam. Because, yeah, unfortunately, this one doesn't quite have all the chops, if you will. But, yeah, as I speak, we've got 10 days left. 9 days until we launch Outlaw Knights, Genesis of a Renegade, issue number 2. I am nervous as all get out about it, but let's not get into that right now.
Boss, our GMP is now in the red.
No, it's not.
If it stays this way, staff morale will fall and the men will start leaving Diamond Dogs. You've got to bring in more funds and keep costs down.
I had to log it. I had to connect online again because it was having trouble connecting. The weirdest thing about this game is that if you play it in offline mode, most of your GMP, which is your money, it's like tied to your other bases. So it's like if you're offline, a lot of times it'll put you in the red and it's messed up because it's like, what if you can't log in that day and you want to play? You're gonna be screwed. So anyway,
please select a mission.
We are on the precipice. We are right here.
Boss, the intel team's hard at work investigating the cause of that illness spreading through Mother Base. Problem is, a bunch of our agents in the field are still MIA. Progress has been slow, until now. We just got a distress call from one of them. He said he's got intel on the origin of the disease. But the PF in the area got to him before we did. There's been no further contact from him, but we know he's being held at the guard post on the western end of the mine. There's still a good chance he's alive. We can't afford to let him die. Right now, he's the only link we have to the root cause of the epidemic. Get our man back, boss.
Mission accepted.
Mission accepted.
I just said that. Sorry, D-Dog. We gotta put you away for right now. We're gonna need the horse. Probably the most useful of the buddies. I could have brought a car a lot of these times, but the problem with the cars is that they're too easy to spot. With the horse, you can find ways to hide. Sure, I got my shit. Yeah.
Deploying.
Let's do this thing.
Our man has been captured by the PF in his operation area. He's being held at the guard post on the western end of the mine. Boss, we need you to get him out ASAP. Right now, he's only linked to the root cause of the epidemic.
Gotta get him out. Gotta get him out.
Be careful down there, boss.
The map has been updated.
First, we gotta get the gerbils out. The gerbils are our priority, people.
You have arrived at your destination.
Check the VI on your iDroid. That's where the target is being held.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
I know there's some mines around here. Gotta avoid them.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Your mom's been updated.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Het jy geweet, hulle is besig om pantserskilde uit te doen.
A blood trail. He got out on his own. Where is he now?
The map has been updated.
There's a mine. There's a car. That's our boy. How do I know? I've played this before. That's how I
Boss got an
know.
emergency report from the intel team. A vehicle has fled the guard post heading northwest. The prisoner at the wheel appears to be the target. Did he escape on his own? The target is no longer at the designated position. Find that vehicle fast.
There he is. Stop the car! Stop the car!
Where's the target? Has to be around there somewhere.
Enemy presence detected. The map
That's
has
fine.
been mission
I'll send a
info
chopper.
support
Get
helicopter
the target to the
requested.
RV. Boss, did you see that explosion? There's smoke. The target's crashed his vehicle. That'll bring the enemy down on him in time. The target's in danger. Get to the scene of the crash.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand by.
Support helicopter has arrived. Enemy presence detected. Support helicopter has arrived.
We gotta get the fuck out of here.
Exfiltrated hot
That's
zone.
it. You've made it out of the hot zone. No sign of the enemy. Mission complete, boss.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been buddied. Departing area of operations.
Damn, that was smooth. That's not.
Has
Mission
been
complete.
updated.
And the target's safe. Time to figure out what the hell is behind this epidemic.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Mission complete, and how? They're gonna tell stories about this one, boss.
Again with the butterfly. Like, what is this butterfly bullshit? I don't float like a butterfly, and I don't sting like a bee.
target was DOA. He kept insisting we listen, right up until his last breath, about the pathogen, and the old man who knows how to treat it. Code Talker. He even told us where he is. Boss, let's make sure his death was the last. It's high time we met this Code Talker. Good. You captured it alive.
We got the gerbils. But they said he was DOA, so how's he alive? They lied to me. Lying sons of bitches. Now comes the major story mission. If the screen will load.
Please select a mission.
Should I do the normal one or should I do the hard one? I'm gonna do the normal one because I know that if I do the hard one, I'm gonna fuck up a million times.
Boss, you need to make contact with the Code Talker, the old man who's supposed to know what's behind this infection. The intel team member you extracted was able to pinpoint his location. A forest that stretches across the Angola-Zaire border. The locals call it OUTLAW Valley, the Valley of the Lost. The target's in a mansion deep in this valley. A PF is deployed there, but we've also spotted an unidentified group operating in the area. If Cypher developed this pathogen, there's a good chance our target played a central role in that process. But is this their weapon to surpass Metal Gear? Will the pathogen or its cure lead to Cypher? This guy is the key to everything. Boss, make contact with Code Talker and extract him if you see fit. We can't afford to lose any more men. We have to stop this thing.
Mission accepted.
We don't need you, D-Horse. We're gonna be on foot for a good bit. You saw correctly. I am bringing the 50 caliber sniper rifle. We have got a fight on our hands.
Contact with the old man known as Code Talker. According to the intel team member you extracted, he knows what the epidemic is and how to treat it. You'll find him in a mansion deep in the valley beyond the forest.
I should mention, they're talking about an epidemic. The idea is when you play, like when this is a new game and this mission first comes up, the idea is members of Mother Base have come down with the mysterious illness that we've been tracking in Africa. And so you end up like a bunch of the staff members die after a while. And you're challenged with like, you know, they build a quarantine platform and they tell you, okay, you decide who gets quarantined And of course, like everything Hideo Kojima does, you've got to figure out the trick or the secret. And the big secret is that everybody who has come down with the mysterious illness speaks the language Kikongo. Because we're dealing with a disease that affects specific languages. I know that sounds kind of weird, and to some people it might sound kind of stupid, but I like the way they explain it. It works to me. But so you quarantine everybody who speaks Kikongo, and the deaths start decreasing. But the idea is you're still on a timer. Like, there's still people dying. So we've got to get to Code Talker so he can treat the epidemic.
He's a high-value target who's probably involved with Cypher's research. This information came at a heavy price. And you convinced security on site is gonna be tight. Watch yourself out there, alright? Make contact with the target, Code Talker. And if the treatment requires it, extract him to Mother Base.
Most importantly, get the gerbils out.
Be careful down there, boss.
Man is fast for somebody who's been crippled.
No sign of the enemy. Judging from security in the area, I'd expect to see a patrol by now.
Extraction arrived at Mother
Missed.
Base.
Have a bad feeling about this. It's the skulls. Damn it. So Cypher is behind this.
Line up my shot. Woohoo! One down.
See that? The sniper vanished into thin air. Just like quiet. If you can't mark them, there's no way to tell where they'll strike from next. Stay on your guard.
Number 2 down. Fuck, I'm good. And I'm so humble about it, too. Don't you understand that the lag is just part of the challenge? Woo-hoo-hoo! Right in the fucking skull. Get it? Because they're members of the Skulls. Isn't that frickin' hilarious? Nope. Nope. Come on, line up the shot. Gotta! Nope. Oh. Fuck. Got me in the crosshairs. Woo-hoo-hoo! Damn. Got him!
Don't tell me you took them all out. That's incredible, boss. Our men can rest in peace now.
Skulls dispatched, baby! That's not the difficult part.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Definitely got to get better internet. Of course, I don't think an Ethernet cable is going to help with this because it has to be a wireless connection to do the remote play.
Extraction arrived at Mother Base.
Time to extract the old man.
You're near the mansion. That's where you'll find a target code talker.
You have arrived at your destination.
They're with
Analysis
the PF
complete.
Zero Risk Security. Looks like they're protecting the target. Why don't you try interrogating them? They might know the target's exact location. Excellent work, boss. They don't even know you're there. Keep it up.
Damn right it's excellent work. It's me. Why are we aiming a gun at the man we need help from?
I've been waiting, Tilisi. Or should I say, Bedahokhale.
That's him. That's Code Talker.
Look familiar? It's infecting my men. How do we Silence. Or death. What do you... It could be in here. Stay quiet. Your life depends on it. Sit. The parasite has infected your band. Those are its larvae. They enter the throat and attach themselves to the vocal cords. They mimic the host.
Motherfuckers.
No one can tell the difference. Upon reaching maturity, they mate. Sustained exposure to a particular sound triggers copulation. The resulting larva then feast on the host lungs, killing it. The particular sound is words. They attack only those who speak a certain language, not just one. I cannot say which language your parasites are attuned to, but silence is the best way to keep them from laying their children. This contains an herb that they dislike.
Smoke some hashish.
Good. That should deafen them for a while. You have bought yourself some time. Speak. Is there a cure? Once symptoms manifest, larvae have already infested the alveoli, at which point nothing can be done. There is a way to halt the onset, which would prevent infection. I need your help. He stole the ones I sealed away, forced me to do his terrible work. Skullface. Even a country like America sways in his wake. I could not defy him. The fate of Dine lies in his hands. However, perhaps the Nishia led you here. If my children have upset the Roju of the world, it falls to me to set it right.
Checkpoint. I like Code Talker. I'm always a fan of the wise old shaman.
You've secured the target, but he's too old to risk a full extraction. Put Code Talker in the chopper and return to base.
He claims they are the dream of every ruler since the dawn of time. Teach them your enemy's words, then unleash them on his lands, destroying only those who speak his tongue. He calls them his ethnic cleansers.
Ethnic cleansers? That's what Skullface is after. In Zoya, Badiabulu was... Boss, gonna wipe every language besides English off the face of the earth.
Ironic, isn't it? They gave us language, and now they take it away. It is thanks to them that man first learned to speak. But now, the hands of their clock turn back. They've been warped by the hands of man.
Mission info has been updated. Please select a landing zone. The support helicopter
Roger.
requested. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
This is Pequod. Arriving shortly at LZ. This is Pequod. Have arrived at LZ. Will stand
I
by.
know you took out the skulls. So
Support
since rushing
helicopter
things
has
now,
arrived.
wait and see what their next move is.
Victims of the experiments. They were implanted without my knowledge, even had I known. There is nothing I could have done.
By the MIA intel team has do.
Again, it just adds to the challenge.
They're gonna pay for this.
Damn, I'm good.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Your enemy presence has been detected.
arrived at Mother Base.
Mission complete, and how? They're gonna tell stories about this one, boss.
Again with the octopus. Like, I can't get a fox? Give me fox.
Boss, we found the bodies of the 2 missing intel team members in OUTLAW Valley. We knew we wouldn't get them back alive, but still, it's a damn shame. Don't let their sacrifice go to waste, boss. We need to stop the epidemic at Mother Base. That old man, Code Talker, he's the only hope we've got. Good. You captured it alive.
We got the gerbils out. And a raven. And we got volunteers. So, mission complete. Load screens, I swear to God. They're gonna be the death of me.
Tell me how to fight it. I hid the answer in a microbe this one carries. It turns the male parasites into females, preventing reproduction. One parasite infecting another. However, it doesn't affect only the parasite. It alters the host as well. Your infection will be contained, but you and your men will also be rendered infertile. That is the price you must pay to regain your spirit.
That freak show back there, they the work of your children too?
A different strain from the vocal cord parasite, known as the one that covers. It acts as the host's skin, providing strength in exchange for nourishment. But I did not know those men were infected. They were forced to serve him, then steal my research. Have you seen one of their vehicles?
Big yellow cake.
Captured a convoy they were escorting. Cargo, some kind of mineral.
What became of it? The metallic archaea.
Out ahead!
We're gonna do it. As they, yeah, these next couple missions are the whole. It's a two-parter.
Please select a mission.
Boss, you okay? There's an unusual mist in front of your chopper. It could be the same one as before. Cypher is trying to eliminate Code Talker, but we can't save the infected without him. Boss, whatever you do, bring Code Talker back alive.
We're going in with the same shit we had before. Why? Continuity, that's why.
Deploying.
Plus, my 50 caliber sniper rifle is the perfect weapon.
Out ahead!
It's them.
Oh no, not the pilot!
Can you hear me? Are you okay?
That snake's been through so much shit. So everything that happened over those 9 years and the helicopter crash. And yet somehow he and a very old, frail man survived. And the chopper's all rusted.
It looks like you're surrounded by mist. The support chopper can't get close to your position right now.
Hurry! They are coming!
Ew.
We are their quarry.
Skulls.
The map has been
That Misty is
updated.
their work. We won't be able to send in another chopper for now. Boss, you'll need to eliminate the skulls. We cannot lose Code Talker.
no.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated. Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Nice going, boss. That mist is
Support
clearing.
helicopter
Great work,
requested.
boss. I'm coming in on another chopper. Get the talker to the LZ and wait there.
Mission info
I did that a lot quicker than I thought I would.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
This is B-Quad. Arriving shortly at LZ.
Enemy
This
presence
is B-Quad.
detected.
Have
The map
arrived at
has
LZ.
been updated.
Stand by.
Support helicopter has arrived. Analysis. Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
Might as well take some shit.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
We need the gerbils. We don't get the gerbils. All of this was for nothing.
Analysis complete.
Ooh, you're coming too.
You gonna extract him?
Analysis complete.
Ooh, you're coming too. We're bringing all of our friends.
Analysis complete. Analysis
Subject
complete.
on board. Leave the rest to us.
They killed that poor bastard.
Analysis complete.
Get in, boss.
I was on a roll today.
Extraction arrived at
Not
Mother
one
Base.
screw up.
Mission complete, and how? They're gonna tell stories about this one, boss.
Bat? I guess it's Halloween.
Skullface is no longer in Africa. The nuclear test was a success. Now they turned their knives on me.
Satellites didn't read any test. Neither did seismometers.
The detonation test took place 5 years ago in the southern Indian Ocean. The final test was the opposite, to prevent detonation.
You mean?
Skullface plans to sell nuclear weapons that he retains control of.
It's not like hawking small arms to militias.
Indeed. He plans to avoid detection by exporting minerals containing tiny amounts of uranium in the form of metallic archaea. Once on site, the metallic archaea enrich the uranium and weaponize it. Loaded onto all-terrain bipedal machines, they ensure any country, armed group, even the smallest terrorist cell, can become a nuclear power.
Bipedal. So that's why they needed Huey.
A nuke business to replace the arms business. And Skullface owns the market.
The very atmosphere of nukes, anywhere and everywhere. Deterrence on all sides.
So that's why he ran a non-detonation test.
Yes. Another metallic archaea instantly overrides the criticality generator. The fail-safe only he controls. Any such weapon can be deactivated whenever he chooses, regardless of who owns it or their intent to use it.
Nukes. Controlled by a man, not a country.
If they proliferate, conventional nukes lose all value. Political, military, and economic. The two superpowers become powerless.
Good. You captured it alive.
Skullface plans to weaponize gerbils. Thank God we've been saving them. I love this story, I really do.
We need to stop the epidemic at Mother Base.
About the pathogen spreading through Mother Base, what's your opinion?
Textbook symptoms of vocal cord parasite infestation. And judging from this casualty list, it is the Kikongo strain, meaning a breed of parasite that triggers symptoms upon detecting pronunciation specific to Kikongo.
So how do we keep them from becoming symptomatic?
Use this. A type of Wolbachia, introduced to a sample of the parasite. The parasitic bacteria that colonizes the parasites, turning male to female and preventing copulation. You must cultivate more.
Thanks to Code Talker, we've managed to put a stop to any new systematic. But everyone who survived has been released from the quarantine platform.
And I haven't taken a bath at all.
Skullface will pay for this.
Again with the truth serum?
What are those legs made of? Titanium? All the way to the femur.
Metallic archaea.
Sahelanthropus. Where is it?
What?
We have to know before his plan is complete. Sahelanthropus is the final piece.
What are you talking about?
If the Soviets break out a mobile, controllable nuclear weapon, East-West relations will be right back at the Cuban Missile Crisis.
The Cold War returns to life, as countries without nuclear arsenals line up for what Skullface is selling. Nuclear weapons proliferate overnight, and on the brink of annihilation, the world maintains its balance.
But we know this is all just a shield, a ruse.
The cleansing parasites are what matter most. A WMD to eclipse even nukes, and the only one that can still be used. Skullface is the world's greatest threat, and Zero's. The pieces are in place. All that remains is to unveil Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan.
They can't activate it without me. Okay, B-Zero. Sahelanthropus is beyond the Soviet base camp, in a lab built by the Soviet philosophers. That's what you're looking for. But I have no idea how he's controlling it. It wasn't designed to accommodate a human pilot. No! No! Wait!
That ocelot is a sick puppy.
We got word from Afghanistan. Everyone at the Soviet base camp's dead. No sign of fighting. Parasites. Skullface's men then headed north.
The target is OKB-0. That's where he'll activate Sahelanthropus. Unless we stop him, he'll go down in history a conquering victor. Of his existence.
I'm gonna need backup on this one.
You'll rendezvous on site.
And we're gonna continue the mission next time. I figure, you know, gotta space it out for the nice final showdown, if you will. In the meantime, I'm gonna try to see if we can listen to some of our fun audio. I know you love them tapes. I like them.
Look closely. Those are the symptoms of the infection on Mother Base. The blisters on the body were full of tiny worms. Parasite larvae, most likely. But we couldn't find any adults. It doesn't seem to mature in the body, like a spargatum. We don't know the root of infection, or what causes symptoms to develop. The infection rate, along with the number of dead, are both on the rise. If we don't find the cause, and soon... Boss, do you remember before, boss? When Quiet attacked one of our guys on Mother Base, stuck a knife in his mouth. He's one of the very few soldiers who've had contact with her recently. Close contact. I don't think it's a coincidence that he was among those who became symptomatic pretty early on in this epidemic. Saliva and blood spatter, an open wound, mucosal infection. Whatever is causing this got inside him then.
Miller, that is a baseless accusation.
The source of the infection is Quiet. Everyone suspects her.
We don't know that. And we've come across these symptoms before. The bodies in the water at the oil field facility, those sick people in the Devil's House. They're identical to what we've seen while we've been after Cypher. The infection could have come from elsewhere. But at the very least, she does know something.
It's not like she's gonna talk.
No, not through words anyway. But what about her actions? Quiet held a knife to that soldier back then, before he became symptomatic. There must have been a reason for that.
A reason for shoving a knife down the throat of one of our men.
What if she's capable of identifying who's infected? What if she was trying to stop the infection but couldn't communicate that to us? The answer to that, the source of the infection, might be in the mouths of the infected.
You think there's some kind of clue in their mouths?
I don't know. But maybe there's something about the mouths of those who've become symptomatic, something in common.
Something their mouths have in common. Forget it. We can't trust her. Even if she can spot the infected, I don't want her help.
I understand how you feel. But this is something to go on.
Can't you see it's just like I said? Bringing her here was a big mistake. Quiet is gonna be the end of us.
Stand down. You've got zero proof. Try to keep an open mind on this, boss. There has to be a way to identify who's infected. About the pathogen spreading through Mother Base. You've seen everything we've got on the outbreak. What's your opinion?
Textbook symptoms of vocal cord parasite infestation. And judging from this casualty list, it is the Kikongo strain, meaning a breed of parasite that triggers symptoms upon detecting pronunciation specific to Kikongo. So our Kikongo-speaking staff are at risk.
Quite so.
He's right. All the victims do speak Kikongo.
So they can survive if they just use another language.
There is no guarantee. You're only dealing with the Kikongo strain. Other language strains may be present. You well know he was teaching them languages from all over the world.
The Devil's House. Nzoya Badiabulu.
There is no way to know how many strains he has at his disposal.
So how do we keep them from becoming symptomatic? You mentioned using microbes.
Use this. Now, we must wait for the Wolbachia to multiply in the larvae.
How is the disease transmitted? If it's carried by insects or rodents, then...
There is no intermediate host.
So...
The vocal cord parasites lay their eggs in the larynx of the host. Most hatch and migrate to the lungs, but some are transported to the mouth through ciliary movement, mixing in with saliva.
Saliva. Droplet transmission.
Sneezing, coughing. Any food or water containing infected saliva. It would spread fast.
Indeed. And when the larvae migrate to the lungs, symptoms can resemble the early stages of a cold, making it easy to infect others.
Meaning a simple conversation would be enough to pass it on.
Alright, so what happens after the larvae migrate to the lungs?
It is as I said before. They mature by feeding on alveolar tissue. It is only then that noticeable symptoms appear in the host.
Code Talker, what are the metallic archaea?
Volcanic craters spewing sulfur. Water hot enough to boil your skin off. Ocean depths of 800 plus atmospheres. Wastelands radioactive enough to kill you where you stand. There are groups of organisms that survive despite. No. Because of living in such environments.
I've heard about them. Extremo... something.
Extremophiles. By selecting certain species, then subculturing and repeatedly modifying them, I created a metallic offspring of pure archaea. They subsist on metals rather than organic matter.
And some of them even consume uranium?
Yes. Uranium enrichment archaea metabolize only uranium-235. As a result, they produce weapons-grade enriched uranium.
How is that possible?
Consider how plants fractionate carbon isotopes when they conduct photosynthesis. Nature possesses abilities beyond our imagination.
So it was archaea that brought down your chopper?
Corrosive archaea, yes. They oxidize metals, feeding off the energy in the electrons they receive. What became of the wreckage?
We had the R&D team retrieve samples for study in airtight plastic containers, of course.
Prudent. We shall extract archaea from it in good time. They should help you fight back against Black Anna.
Any chance we could start now? It doesn't have to be a lot. I might just have another use for them.
If it's only a small amount you need.
That's fine. I'll get the R&D team to assist. Let's go. Code Talker, haven't seen you eat a single thing since you got here. Let me guess. Photosynthesis?
Oh? What makes you say that?
Well, a long time ago, I knew someone with a similar ability.
The end.
Well, you are correct. Most of my body is covered with parasites. I supply them with water, and in return, I receive sugars they produce when exposed to light. It isn't just my skin either. The parasites also act as my eyes. They have replaced many of my internal organs as well. It is thanks to them that I live on after over a century.
How did you obtain them anyway? Through your research?
I would like to say as much, but there is more to it than that. Let me take you back 20 years. I had hit a dead end with my parasite research. Then I was approached by a foundation. They said they had a sample of an unusual strain of parasite.
Which foundation?
Apparently, they had links to ARPA. But that is all I learned. I was somewhat ignorant of the ways of the world. Just being able to study it was enough for me.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Go on.
Half in doubt, I visited them to discover the body of an old man. Well, to be precise, his partial remains. A collection of parts, you could say. The man had died in an explosion.
An old man, you say?
His flesh had not decomposed. In fact, the tissue's cells were still metabolizing. The parasite had infected, or should I say assimilated with, the tissues, and was keeping them alive. I became obsessed with studying the body parts, foregoing food and even sleep. Every day was filled with new discoveries. The parasite's biology, internal anatomy, life cycle. But there was only so much I could learn through observation. And so I made a decision. To truly know the parasites, I had to live with them.
So, you implanted them inside you from the dead man's flesh?
Correct. It was quite a gamble, whether or not they would adapt to me. But fortunately, it appears I was compatible with them. Or perhaps, through my many years of research, my immune system learned to tolerate them.
Were they that body's only parasite?
Yes. However, there was a separate specimen that supplied its host with adrenaline in response to pain, and yet another that could control insects at will through secreting heterogeneous pheromones. I wanted exposure to them, to take them into me, but my wishes were denied. Their records, though, provided clues that helped advance my research. Would you care to join me? A life spent never worrying about food is a most wonderful one.
I think I'll pass. But thanks. This has been helpful.
It's funny, yeah, he was talking about parasites that inhabit two of the members of the Cobra unit that were in Snake Eater. And that's how they explained all those ridiculous abilities that they had.
The one that covers. The parasite that lives on the surface of the skull's bodies is what gives them their power. Similar to my children who live in my skin. I modified the parasites I isolated from the body of that old man, differentiating them with various abilities. One that can blend perfectly into its surroundings by exposing the pigments in its cells at will. Another that, by harboring multiple species of metallic archaea, can oxidize and reduce metal. Isolating the one that covers and transplanting it into an artificial medium should provide the same abilities as the skulls, but they can only subsist within a human body. Once transplanted into the medium, they will eventually die. Another thing, the weakness of the one that covers is desiccation. Their surface moisture loss is greater than ours. The reason they give off mist is to alleviate this by releasing the salts inside them as microparticles. Water vapor condenses around them, appearing as mist. But this dries out the atmosphere until they cannot even produce mist. And once their supply of water from the host runs out, the parasites are in danger. They, along with their host, enter a form of suspended animation. However, a similar effect occurs if they come into contact with a large amount of water. Rain, for instance, the one that covers will temporarily abandon other processes in his eagerness to absorb the water. Petijolone. Make the weather your ally.
There's something I've been wondering. Why are you called Code Talker? During World War II, the U.S. military used the languages of different tribes, including the Navajo, as codes, right? I know the term Code Talker was used to mean people sent to the battlefield to speak in those codes. Were you one of them?
Our mother tongue was indeed used for war. But I did not go. I was already over the conscription age. However, I was made to help craft the codes that were spoken. So in a wider sense, you could call me a code talker for that. Navajo is a complex language, and virtually no one outside the US speaks it. They must have thought it was the perfect language to use as a code.
Yeah, in the end, the Japanese never cracked it. The cipher is king in information warfare.
Of course, they didn't simply speak in Navajo. They created substitutions for words according to a code book, and then translated those into our language. Young Diné was sent to the front lines of the Pacific Theater as code talkers. To fight is an honor for the Diné. They were the pride of our people. But I cannot say this history brings me joy. Words are alive. When they are spoken, life is breathed into them. They become a part of the listener. Our words were transformed into lifeless ciphers and used for war. This, after the Black Ana spent generations suppressing the language.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I guess we shouldn't be calling you Code Talker, huh?
No, I do not mind. The reason Skullface called me Code Talker was because I also am responsible for coding language into the vocal cord parasites. I am the same as those young warriors, used for a cipher's sake. I must never forget that. The name, Code Talker, is a lesson carved into my being. The rise of the vocal cord parasites goes back approximately 300 million years to the Permian period. At that time, they were not even parasites, but predatory autotrophs. They are believed to have been the common ancestor to the Pentastomida and the Cyclops genus of copepods.
That's easy for you to say.
Earth's environment underwent a violent change at the end of the Permian period. The cause is unclear, but evidence suggests died out. The most pronounced threat to the proto-parasites was the severe reduction in oxygen concentration. I learned of the vocal cord parasite's existence in literature belonging to the Foundation. It was little more than a theory. The question was, why does only Homo sapiens among all primates have highly developed language? Human versus everything else. The missing link between these was the mystery that gave rise to this theory. I was fascinated by the idea of their existence. In the Diné creation myth, the Neyo Diné, who first inhabited the world, were insect-like creatures. I came to imagine that those insect-like creatures could be humans living in symbiosis with the vocal cord parasites. But I had not the faintest idea of how I could resurrect them. That is when Skullface came to me. What he offered me was not just assistance with my metallic archaea research. He told me the vocal cord parasites really existed. And not only did they exist, they had already been brought back to life in the modern age. an ancient human cadaver, host to the parasites of the time. Cypher excavated such a cadaver from a permafrost region and isolated the DNA coding of the vocal cord parasites.
The sniper from Snake Eater.
They were long dead and could not be brought back, but there was an alternate vessel they could use. A relative species of the Pentastomida discovered in China. It had adapted to live in the nasal cavity of animal hosts, but its genetic sequence showed signs of common ancestry with the vocal cord parasites. Ontogenesis, a path of an organism to maturity, is like a roadmap of the phylogenetic evolution of the entire strain.
Obviously.
Cypher used this to effect a reverse evolution of the modern parasite and resurrect the vocal cord parasites. They interposed a developmental mechanism to the ontogenetic stage analogous to when the relative species first appeared, point at which it split from the vocal cord parasites, forcing its evolution down the other path, the vocal cord parasite path. The larvae is produced by the vocal cord parasites, reborn. I do not know in detail how Cypher accomplished this, but clearly they have access to high-level genetic technologies. Skullface said it was the work of a genius woman scientist, and that the relative species in question was first discovered by a group once called the Philosophers. I was tasked with modifying the resurrected parasites. He charged me with 2 demands. First, to add lethality to these organisms that had once lived in peace with man, by unleashing the larvae's latent desire to consume nutrients from the host's lung tissue, making them eat and eat until the lungs were destroyed. Second, to have both male and female inhabit the same host and copulate then and there only when exposed to specific pronunciations continuously over an extended time. What he would do to the detailed. I had no choice. Originally, the ultimate objective of the ethnic cleansing parasite project was the identification of not only languages, but of actual cultures. Language is deeply connected to ethnicity, but many languages are employed by multiple ethnic groups, and confrontation between those ethnic groups is by no means rare. If the cleanser parasites were to be a deterrent against ethnic conflict, they had to distinguish between groups using means other than pure language. The original plan called for this to be achieved by differences in the transmission vector. Each ethnic group has different lifestyle customs and eating habits. For instance, parasites living in shallow water and taken in through the skin could be used to target rice farming groups, or parasites using cows as their intermediate host would be ineffective against cultures that abstain from eating beef. But that is a lofty goal indeed. The current parasites mainly rely on droplet transmission. It would take extensive time to alter the transmission route. I eventually learned that the Ethnic Cleansers project had been shut down. It was Skullface who put it back into operation. But despite that, he told me to forget about the transmission route and just focus on language identification. I do not know why. I understand that the Chinese philosophers who discovered the relative species of parasite originally planned to develop a phonogrammic Alexia parasite.
Of course.
The left temporoparietal region is home to the part of the brain that identifies the phonetic symbols of the English language. They wished to create a strain that would parasitize that region and suppress its literacy functions. The brain area responsible for identifying the logographs of Chinese, meanwhile, is in the left middle frontal gyrus, meaning that even if native speakers of Chinese were infected with the parasite, the literacy would be unaffected. Old and new, east and west, there is no limit to the delusions of those in power. But this delusion threatens to become a reality. I have to do something to stop this. There must be something I can do.
And there we have it. A long, totally fake lesson in how the vocal cord parasites came into being. Though, I'll tell you, the biggest thing I admire about Hideo Kojima is just the level of depth he takes his science fiction. As you can see, like, he clearly had some folks in science working on part of this, background lore. Because even though there's parts that are fake, it's clearly based in reality to an extent. I can only, I think that kind of creativity is a little bit beyond me, but I'd like to aspire to be somewhat close to that. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. And when we meet next, we will finally confront Skullface. Get ready for that. I am, of course, your host, Ben, aka The Fusebox. You can find me on Twitter at Knights Outlaw with an N, not a K. You can also find me on Instagram at Outlaw Knights. And you can find me on Facebook under my real name, Ben Fuselier, F-U-S-E-L-I-E-R. And if you haven't yet, click on the link in the description of this video, sign up for Outlaw Knights Genesis of a Renegade Part 2, a space opera story about pirates that will blow you away, bring back the best part of the 90s in terms of storytelling, and it'll just a great new place for you to get lost in your imagination. And we're gonna have some fun twists and turns. Sign up for the email list, because when you're on the email list, you will get access to exclusive perks that you're not going to be able to get a hold of on the main campaign, including my first major one, a very limited one, is a 2 for the price of 1 deal, where you're going to be able to get issues 1 and 2 for the price of just 1 issue. It's going to be very limited, as I've only got a few copies of issue 1 printed up right now that are going to be used in this bundle. So get on the email list and make sure that you click on that email when I send it out right away, because that puppy's going to fill up fast. If you like anything I had to say in this video, or if you like any of my gameplay, go ahead and hit the like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, be sure to hit the bell for notifications. If you didn't like this video, go ahead and hit the dislike button. The interaction is great for the channel, and I won't really be able to see it, so it won't really be able to hurt my feelings as you might want it to. So, it's a win-win for me. Thank you so much for joining me yet again, ladies and gentlemen, and I will talk to you all later.